today's the day. I'm really pleased to say that yesterday we uploaded all the recorded talks from our Managing and Engaging Communities Day at Gamification Europe 2020. And that now you can go and watch them on our YouTube channel, whether you want to rewatch them because they were so good, or we need to watch them for the first time and learn something interesting. What did we have? Let's talk you through it. Let's see if I got a little list, because we've done obviously a playlist on the YouTube channel for that day, the Managing and Engaging Communities Day. And it's in the same order we had them on the day, actually, because I think it made a lot of sense. So we started off with Albert Vandermeer, who gave us a great insight into gamification and communities, and particularly around, I mean, obviously he's done a lot of work in gamification and marketing, but a big element of that is how you engage the communities. And it was a great way to set the scene for the whole day. He was followed by, I wonder if this will update. Let's have a go. Yeah. He was followed by Adam Postai, who talked about, well, to be honest, a tough audience, which is how to gamify and build a community of gamification, people interested in gamification. So I feel like that's a tough audience because they're already knowing about gamification. So there's a real practical session on what they really did and how they did it to motivate. The next session was from David Iacchetta of our sponsors, Bravon. And he didn't actually talk about Bravon. He was kind to us, and instead of selling us his product, he actually talked about how Fortnite works really well, the game elements in it, and how you can then use those same elements in a more commercial way of being. And that's why his talk was called Community Monetization. Okay, so I highly recommend having a read of that, or watch of that. Then something slightly different. We had a great talk from Sabrina Bruweiler on using music and the power of music and games in communities. And she particularly looked at the power of K-pop as well as an example, and took us through how that works and how we could use that, which I think was a great way to wrap up the morning sessions on our Communities Day. After lunch, we had some really interesting sessions too. And one of those was, we called it Awesome Connections Gamified. But this was from Jed and Sophia Lazar, who run the game Cozy Juicy Real, which probably loads of people who are watching this have now played. In fact, we used it for the conference after party as well. They hosted that for us in their game, Cozy Juicy Real. And this isn't so much about the game as the outcomes they're seeing in online connections between people, and how they've been improved, and the questions that have been asked, and the stats from it, because they've had quite a few games played. I highly recommend this as a watch, and find a session of Cozy Juicy Real to play at some point. Then we went practical again. This was around using gamification to build a community of pharmacists in Mongolia by Tamir. Once again, I would say a tough audience that he has to work with. And it shows the practical ins and outs. They mentioned some of the things that don't work or didn't work, and what does work, and actually how overall gamification did the trick nicely. Thank you very much for gamifying a community. So that's cool. Then, what can I say? The following talk was from superstar Yukai Chow, and we managed to get him to talk about how they use Octalysis within their own community, Octalysis Prime, which obviously teaches people about gamification. And you've just got to watch it to learn about the game loops they use in practice, in reality. So I think it's a great way of looking at the sort of work that can be done. So how do practitioners use it on their own communities? This was followed by a great talk by Tatiana Taka. It was more of an insight into esports, the world of esports and the communities from that point of view. And one of the talk was actually about how active other demographics are within esports and how they feel like it's a safe space to take part online. And so there's a very high percentage of female gamers taking part in esports or watching esports and enjoying themselves. And she sets the scene really nicely for this. And then we start thinking about how can we actually build these sessions better? What else can we do? And I think it's just a really positive, actually, part of the industry to concentrate on. And finally, we wrapped up the day with a panel session led by the superb Erkan Ultuk Yilmaz from Turkey, an author of various gamification books in Turkish, and just all-round good guy and manager and instigator, inspiration for a massive gamification community in Turkey as well. So it was a easy choice to run the panel session there. And on the panel session, we actually have Erkan, we've got Tatiana, we've got Yukai, and we've also got Sandra Abadir as well, who's involved in gamification communities in Egypt and a little bit across the Middle East as well. And there's all sorts of insights from that one. It's a broad-ranging session. I don't even know how to summarize it off the top of my head. So what can I say? 9 great talks, all worth watching. You can find them on our YouTube channel. Okay. And just look for the GEU2020 Managing and Engaging Communities playlist, and get watching and comment on them and share them, and look forward to coming to this year's Gamification Europe. Overall, 9 great talks. Let me know what you think. Goodbye for now. Thanks for tuning in.